Hope you guys had a great Thursday. Happy Friday. Let's go ahead and jump into this pre-market brief. We're going to start off by looking at crypto. We see that it's pushing green. And we're going to take a brief look at Bitcoin just to get an idea where the crypto market may go. We know that Bitcoin is the index of the crypto market. And we are taking a brief look at Coinbase and its earnings on the day since it's a part of the portfolio. But we see that our most recent lowest floor is about $65,105. And our most recent floor closest to where we are currently is at about 65,970. We want to see throughout the rest of today it bounce on this 65,970 and push its way back to the top side if we're looking for it to push up. But right now it's a bit of a range bound sideways trend between 68,540 and that $65,105. So we'll see where it goes on the day. It may go lower. It'll just be a good time to average down. But let's go ahead and take a look at the averages and how they ended the day yesterday. We had the Dow Jones ending heavy in the negative at negative 1.34%, S&P at negative 1.57%, and the NASDAQ at negative 2.04%. It is a very volatile season in the market. If you do not have a long-term view, you will probably be upended and lose out. We cannot trade or invest emotionally. There will be seasons when the market drops like this, and it's a bit more dramatic now with all the geopolitics involved, but we are focused on the goal. We have a long-term view, 5-year plan in action because we want to fire our boss. But let's go ahead and take a look at global markets and go from there. We'll start with Asian markets. We have the Kospi in the negative today. Finally, it's been 4 days of straight pushes in the Korean markets, but they are sitting at negative 0.28%. That's how they ended their Friday. Taiwan is sitting at plus 1.61%, the only one green on the day. That's interesting. Remember, the ETF is EWT if you want to invest in that country. Nikkei, the Japanese markets, they dropped as typically they do, followed the American markets to negative 1.21% on the day, the heaviest dropper in the Asian markets. European markets currently at 437 in this beautiful Friday morning. We got the Stocks 600, which tracks the Europe as a whole, as a conglomerate, sitting at plus 0.01% on the day currently. We have the CAC French markets at negative 0.19% and the DAX unchanged. So breaking even. More than likely, they might be waiting on American markets to get their CPI data because that is what we will be looking at today. And the market is waiting for that information to determine where it's going to go. Did inflation increase? Did it decrease? Where did the inflation hit as far as costs and things along those lines? But let's take a look at our portfolio and how it ended yesterday. We had Porch Group, which is the stock that I discussed yesterday, one of the penny stocks that I invested in a couple years ago, ending their day with a gain of plus 12.52%, hitting about plus 2.66% on the day. So if you were day trading, it would have been nice to buy in maybe early in the morning, pre-market, and then sell out right at the open before the price dropped. But other than that, we had the memory hardware stocks leading the market. Let's go ahead and take a look at the S&P and get into some chart analysis on that, and then we will move from there. Hope you guys' Friday is going well. Let's get into it. Daily time frame. So, a lot of volatility. Big green candlestick on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Well, that's Thursday. This is Monday. But we had a big drop yesterday. So a lot of volatility, still range bound between that bottom range at 6,780, which were just above that. We ended yesterday just above that, $100 above that. And our top range of about $7,002. We want to see, we'll be okay with this bouncing and then heading back up, but it looks like in general, as far as the daily time frame, we're just range bound. It's just a sideways trend right now. So instead of my predicted market pullback right now that would be happening in this first 3 to 4 months of the year, which has happened in the past 3 years, we're just going in a very volatile, very unpredictable sideways trend. Somewhat predictable because we can see it happening on the chart. This is why you should use chart analysis to give you an idea of where the market is going and not just news networks that get you all emotional. But let's take a look at a 30-minute time frame and see if we can get things situated, get a little bit more detail about this trend and where we may be going for the day. Big drop yesterday at the 11 o'clock hour. That has to be institutional investors. All right. So what we are seeing right now as far as the 30-minute time frame is we have a bunch of higher or lower highs. There's a high. There's a lower high. And here's the most recent lower high. And then we have two lower lows. So right now we're basically in a downtrend as far as the 30-minute time frame. We're going to see if we're going to bounce off this lower bound on the day. The lowest point we hit yesterday was $6,824. And hopefully we see a rebound from this and we stay range bound. If not, if we start going into that pullback that I predicted last year that happens that first 3 or 4 months, it wouldn't be unexpected. We would be prepared for it. And all we will be doing is averaging down, not getting in our emotions, not closing out our positions, not looking for those short-term gains, unless you're a day trader or a swing trader, and waiting for the recovery. Because in the long-term view, these stocks, the S&P, all these indexes, they gain. Let's go and we do have one dividend paying out today. That's EQT, and that's one of the power companies that we got into. It's a natural gas company just because of the energy boom as far as AI is concerned. They dropped their dividend today. I believe there's some others, but I believe those pay out on Monday, and we'll discuss those then. Other than that, let's go ahead and get into Coinbase's earnings. We will start off by looking at their chart, and then from there, we will get into some of the details, the key details that will give us an idea of whether it's still a solid idea to invest in Coinbase, because their price has dropped dramatically. I believe on Bloomberg, they said about 38% year to date. So it's a heavy drop, hurts your heart, hurts the portfolio, hurts your gains, but it's temporary. There's a lot of things in the works. But let's take a look at this chart. We'll look at the daily time frame first. We see that we are in the downtrend since April, around July, April last year. It's just been a heavy downtrend, a set of lower highs and lower lows as far as the daily time frame is concerned. It's clear to see. Here's that channel right there. Boom, boom. Let's go to the 30-minute time frame. And even though it was a solid earnings because they beat on revenue, they did not beat on earnings per share, which is what the investor makes. They still are not pushing too much, but they're pushing more than they were in the aftermarket hours of yesterday. They're up about plus 6.50%, plus 6% on this early pre-market Friday morning. But this is the 30-minute time frame is just giving us confirmation of this, continued staircase down trend. Boom, lower, low, boom, dropping down some more, lower highs and lower lows. So just a confirmation of the downtrend on Coinbase right now. But let's get into the details of some of this information shared in the quarterly report and the year-end report for last year. So some of the major points, I'm gonna go through these fairly quickly, that Coinbase released on their earnings call yesterday is that, one, they doubled their market share volume, which is amazing because there's so much negative sentiment around the crypto arena right now. But in general, the crypto, stable coins, tokenized assets, it's growing. Behind all the news, behind all the shenanigans in Congress, the market is growing. not only in the US and in institutions, financial institutions in the US, but also globally. Adoption is happening, whether we want to recognize it and whether Congress, specifically the Democrats, want to recognize it or not. It's happening. And if we don't get ahead of it, if we don't push this forward, there's going to be a lot of people that benefit, and it won't be the US leading the economic landscape from a major strong point, which is using the dollar as a reserve currency. So there's a lot of things to know, but let's get into these. So in the last year, they doubled market share volume. I believe there's a chart. Look at this. Coinbase trading volume has only increased. It almost doubled from 2024, even though I believe in 2023 to 2024, it tripled almost. Yeah. And now it doubled. But look at that gain. If you don't think crypto is happening, if you don't think tokenization is happening, this chart just proves you wrong in general. This is the volume increase, and this is the market share of trading volume increase. So now they moved from 3.2% market share to 6.4% market share in this year. Some other important facts that they noticed that stable coins, which is the big thing nowadays. I'm invested in Circle, which is one of their major partners, but they accounted for a large part of their income because they have those stablecoin rewards. People use them, companies and institutions use them to make transactions seamless. Even Webull, that's a trading platform that I use, link in the bio. But other than that, now Coinbase as a whole conducts about 12% of total crypto trade and transaction volume, which is phenomenal. Compared to, I believe, the top 4 or top 10 other exchanges and companies in similar construct as Coinbase, they outdo them combined. So that's a big point to note. One other thing to note, this is major because, crypto experiences downturns like this. And yes, Coinbase is still buying Bitcoin. And they pointed out that their users, most of their transactions are net buyers. They're not selling out of their positions. They're not selling out of Bitcoin. They're adding to their positions. Over the last few weeks, over this whole time period between the market dropping for the last few months, their customers, their platform users have been net buyers. Also, they have diversified income. So they do not just rely on the exchange and Bitcoin to bolster their income. They have about 12 other streams that make up the income necessary in seasons like this. And that's why they expanded their reach in those areas. Other than that, they are very positive on their partnership with the CFTC and the SEC to bring a little bit more regulation and a little bit more clarity to the crypto region. And they're very key on getting this Clarity Act passed. I believe they say it should happen in the next few months. Here's my theory on the whole situation as far as this drop this time. As far as crypto, people call it a crypto winter. I think it's just politics. And I believe that a lot of Democrats or just institutions, they want to get ahead of this, and they wanted this price to drop so that they can position themselves, whether it be in stable coins, cryptocurrencies, tokenized assets, to be in a very beneficial position once everything is solidified in Congress, in law, in the books, and it takes the industry to a whole nother level. Other than that, I believe that is mainly it when it comes to Coinbase. One other thing, they did have a recent outage right before this earnings call, I believe the day before. The main thing that they noted about these outages is that it's related to volume, which in some sense is a good thing because that means they're gaining more customers, more than they expect, more than their tech and their databases can handle. So they have to continually increase their technological advances, their security, and different optionalities to make sure that everything is secure and can handle the volume of the exchange. So that outage probably is a note that volume increased yesterday because of the price drop in Bitcoin for people to position and to buy into those areas. Just another side theory. Other than that, we got about 3 other points as far as news within our portfolio today. You know I love Planet Labs. It's a satellite company. They did announce that they secured another partnership with a French company, AXA and Planet Partner. I believe this is an insurance company, so this data from Planet Labs satellites will provide this insurance provider with the information necessary to be more direct and more specific when it comes to claims. So another move, they're really expanding their reach in the European market more than the American market, even though they have contracts with the US government and such. But that is solid for Planet Labs. I love space stocks. This is one of my favorites. I believe, do they have a launch coming up? I'm not sure. But next up, as far as current news, is Rocket Labs. It was interesting. Planet Labs, Rocket Labs. It rhymes. Rocket Labs. This is a recent acquisition, and it's a competitor of SpaceX. Always having 1 to 2, maybe 3 different stocks in a competitive industry is key, because if one wins, typically the other wins. But Rocket Labs, they do have also a launch coming up in the later part of this year, not this year, later part of February. So I'm going to be looking and watching that launch live. They do host it, but it's for the US government to test hypersonic missiles. This missile was developed out of Australia, and the mission is called That's Not a Knife. And the payload is a Dart AE scramjet powered aircraft developed by Australian aerospace engineering firm Hypersonics. Oh, the mission name is Kasari Vex. Launch name, That's Not a Knife. Launch window, late February. And customer and the launch site is in Virginia. And what I like about Rocket Labs is they have the launches similar to SpaceX right here. Gives you a nice little visual, nice little graphics. Here's some of the launches that they either have coming up or that they are currently progressing through. And you have the opportunity to watch it live once they begin to stream it, which is dope. I love space, man. I love the space economy. Can't wait to see what other companies and ideas come from the space landscape. But other than that, I do believe there's one last thing to note on the day. FICO did expand their reach by producing another partnership with Meridian Link. This is a lending provider to financial institutions. One thing to note about why FICO is expanding its reach specifically in the private market so much is because last year the federal government decided to replace them as the recommended credit scoring platform to use, even though their platform and their software performed better than the competitors. Blows my mind why they did that. But with that, FICO quickly pivoted and started expanding use of its private program that gives companies, institutions direct access to their software. But yeah, I believe that is all for today and this morning. Pre-market is looking a little bit green, I would say. It's pretty break even. We got silver pushing, Coinbase and a few of the small and mid cap stocks pushing. But we do have some red on the screen, so it might be another break-even day. But what's really going to determine how the day goes, more than likely, is going to be that CPI inflation print and where inflation hits. But other than that, guys, I hope you have a great Friday. Hope you had a great week. Invest. Do not invest emotionally. Do not let the news or a dramatic drop in price, as long as the fundamentals are looking solid and the chart analysis is helping to support that in the long-term view, get you out of your positions and missing out on profit and changing your life within the next 1 to 5 years. If you have enough, you could probably change your entire life in the next 1 to 3 years. But We're doing this to, live the life that we want and allow our children to live the life that they want also. So stay focused, stay disciplined. Don't let your emotions or the news control where you place your money. Stock the future, because we want control. We want to fire our boss if we want to. Get out of here, dog. I'm going to the Bahamas, whatever it may be. Stock the future, guys. Hope you have a great Friday, great weekend. I will probably have one of these tomorrow just to get ready for the weekend, to take a look at crypto markets and see where we're going during the weekend. But yeah, enjoy your weekend. Enjoy your partnerships, because it is that time. And I will talk with you guys later. Peace.